Hey, friendos, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. This coming Sunday, we've got WWE Backlash. We're going to be doing our live reactions to that. So that's exciting. We're going to be doing that with the Enforcer as usual. Speaking of which, I was at my dad's house today and he had dug up a bunch of videotapes. It's a combination of like old home movies that I'm going to digitize just so we have them. And then he had a bunch of like actual movies. And one of the only, it was like a Sheryl Crow concert that he had on tape. Like maybe one other actual movie and then a copy of Forrest Gump. So I'm sending that to the Enforcer because it's his favorite movie of all time. So you'll be getting that. Whenever Enforcer buys something else from lacegems.com, he's going to be getting his free additional bonus gift, a copy of Forrest Gump.
Yeah,
exactly. So anyways, we had ourselves quite the stacked episode of NXT last night. We had the women's title being defended. Raquel Gonzalez versus Mercedes Martinez. We had a killer main event, best 2 out of 3 falls match, KUSHIDA versus Santos Escobar, and the return of one Robert Fish. Larson, what'd you think of NXT last night?
It was a good show. I mean, there's 3 matches that could have conceivably main evented the program. The 2 you mentioned, Karrion and Kross, who is the champion, the match against Austin Theory, that could have conceivably main evented on any other given week. Open the show here. Bob Fish returned. Wasn't quite the Travolta gift that we were expecting, but it was kind of an awkward exchange with Kyle O'Reilly because it seemed wholly and completely manufactured.
It was my favorite thing.
They were kind of like yell talking at each other so the camera could pick up their audio.
Yeah. Hey, Larson, thank you so much for making the save, buddy. I appreciate it.
Sure thing, man. I know you got your own thing going here. With Wrestling Channel News.
Yeah. So listen, I got Wrestle Juice going on, but you keep on doing you, and I'm sure we'll hook up maybe in the future, but not right now.
I got my own projects. I got my own projects lined up down the line, so we'll see you when we see you.
Don't even ask me to hang out with you, even for a beer afterwards.
No,
Besides that, I'm straight edge.
All the beers for me.
That was hilarious. I was like, oh, this makes sense because they were redragging together.
It just seemed like one of those things where like Bob Fish comes in, makes the save, stare down, little nod, and just leave it at that.
You don't need much. You didn't need to yell at the people who are worried that you'll be back in a tag team. It was very like, oh, whoa, buddy. Okay, listen, everybody. I'm still just myself. We didn't need all that. We didn't know. So wait, what are these? So Bob Fish did say, I've got some scores of my own to settle. What scores does this guy have to settle?
Maybe he has beef with Oney Lorcan and Peter Dunne still.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Maybe he's going to show up on SmackDown and attack Pat McAfee.
That could be. Yeah. I guess he does have some scores to settle. That's a good point. And then, of course, we had the debut of a faction immediately I thought was pretty rad, and that was Hit Row. Mm-hmm. Of course, the name and nod to Death Row Records from back.
And also, I don't know if this could be their catchphrase. If you don't know, now you know. That's a Notorious B.I.G. reference.
If you don't know, now you know. That's right. Yep. Yeah. I thought it was pretty awesome, to be honest with you. I thought that the way they each got on the mic and introduced themselves, I thought was really cool. I think it's great for Swerve. Who obviously is immensely talented. He's been there for a little while now, and it's like they've been trying to figure out what to do with him. And as far as I'm concerned, on day one, they've nailed it. They have absolutely nailed it. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about Hit Row. Keeping an eye out on WWEshop.com. I want to see some throwback stuff. I'm not sure they can get like an image of a dude in an electric chair. Because that's pretty dark.
What was the shirt? Is it Tupac?
There's that too, yeah.
Dre and
Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
And yeah. Tupac, Dre, Snoop Dogg, and Suge. Yeah.
Yeah. They can do a shirt like that.
Mm-hmm. I just want, this is obviously what I want, a recreation of the Source Awards speech from Suge Knight. Mm-hmm. If you don't want Leon Ruff all in your matches,
All of your promos.
All of your promos come to Hit Row. That's what I want to see. Oh, to be a child of the 90s. Anyways,
Yes.
NXT started off, like you said, Karrion Kross versus Austin Theory. I'm glad that they gave Theory quite a bit to do here. At some point, look, Theory, if they do this right, is going to be a big, big star. He's got the look, the size, the skills.
He's a good wrestler. Yeah.
Everything. Terrific wrestler. And so I was hoping that he gave Karrion Kross quite a bit to deal with. I was hoping they would give him a bit more, just like a little bit more, like, holy crap, this guy, if he gets polished, he could be scary out here. You know, that's kind of how I kind of want them to approach Theory is he's kind of a dullard, but if he smartens up and he sticks with it, he could be dangerous.
Well,
you know, like I want Theory not even to know how dangerous he could be.
Exactly. Let's not just be, if he smartens up and kind of puts it together, he's got to get out from under Johnny's thumb too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because Johnny's manipulating him for his own benefit, not for Austin Theory's benefit.
Is that how you read that? Because I like to think of him as a family that's
I think, you know, I don't think it's solely that. I think there is some degree of mentor relationship there, where I think to a certain extent Johnny is earnestly taking Austin under his wing, but at the same time, when push comes to shove, he will we've seen this. He will manipulate Austin to achieve his own ends.
It's a great Santini. That's what it needs to be. You know, all of a sudden one day Theory is like playing basketball with him, and Gargano throws the basketball at his head because he can't beat him all of a sudden. But in the wrestling parlance, no, I think you're right. I think that's where it's going to go. So you know, sometimes it's not easy. Like Alabama, I think at this point can literally beat me in a foot race. I think that's a shoot. Last time we were running around, I was like, all right, let me see if I can beat this 6-year-old in a foot race. And she is fast.
Yeah.
She's got those long legs. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm also really slow. Anyways, so a lot of this was whenever Kross would have the upper hand, he would sort of preen in front of John. You know, he would sort of like at one point he stomped the hand of Theory right in front of Gargano, and Gargano looked pretty off-put by that.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, Gargano was able to distract Kross. Theory got a rake on Kross's eye while the ref was distracted by Johnny. They start wrecking him on the outside, or Theory starts wrecking him on the outside, posts him, takes over for a bit. Eventually, though, Kross comes to, hits two really nasty doomsday suplexes.
Oh, man. Those were vicious.
Forearm smash to the back of the head, but instead of going for the pin with that, he just sort of had Theory down on the ground and started like dropping forearms to the back of his head.
Yeah.
Right. And then put him in a chokehold. Theory's already out though, so the ref pretty much immediately.
And the whole time he's doing those forearms to the back and put on the Kross jacket, he's just staring at Gargano.
He's staring at Gargano. Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty good. So then Kross and Scarlett, they're posing in the ring, and Karrion feels a presence behind him. It's Finn. He's teleported.
Rawgate.
Into the ring. He and Kross have a bit of a stare down. Balor says, I don't wait in lines. I want my rematch. Kross says, I want it just as bad as you do. Let's do it. And Finn says, it's done. So in 2 weeks, I believe, we're getting an NXT title match on NXT television.
It's done. After that, we had MSK versus Breezango. This was
there's a Regal interview. Did you know the Regal interview, the one that they had on .com or whatever with Leon Ruff? They ran
they showed that. Okay, I did. I left for a second. I actually watched it live last night. I did not use the many Twitch streams that I saw airing this. Instead, I went over to Xfinity because some of those Twitch streams were having problems. So I was like, I got to watch this legit now. And it doesn't let me pause when I'm live, which is a bummer. Mm-hmm. So I was watching this on Xfinity, and I do think I missed something. So I'm glad they showed that because it explained what happened later with Leon.
Yeah, it was really good. So
it was a great segment. Yeah.
Regal's in his office. Ruff comes in. He says, I want to compete tonight. And Regal says, not after the beating you took last week. And Ruff says, I knew you'd say that. So I took the liberty of going to the trainers, get myself cleared. And Regal says, oh, I know you did that. Guess what? No match. And Leon Ruff starts slamming his fist on the table, starts tossing stuff off, asking Regal, what do I got to do to get a match? Regal just says, you're not competing. Now get out.
Yeah. Trying to save him from himself, basically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I love everything they're doing with Leon Ruff right now. You know, if this was main roster, he'd perpetually be the underdog babyface who can't catch a break, who everybody says doesn't belong, and that's not Leon Ruff here in NXT. This dude's got something to prove. After that, we had MSK versus Breezango. This is probably, and they've had plenty of entertaining matches, but this is the most like sort of PWG-esque entertaining match.
Well, you know that
they've
MSK
had.
is still the PWG tag champs.
Then it's apropos, absolutely.
Hats off to the ref, Daryl Sharma, I think is his name.
Yes,
who got involved. So there was a bit of a cross up that led to Fandango and Tyler Breeze like bumping heads while ropes were being run, and it continues where Tyler Breeze is sent to the ropes by Nash Carter, and the ref's in the way. So first thing, ref drops down. So Breeze has to kind of like run over him, and then on the rebound, ref gets up, has to do a leapfrog, so Breeze can run under him. It's not that often we get that level of involvement from a referee. It was great.
What were we just saying the other day about
allowing refs to have a personality?
Main roster and AEW, and I totally forgot that NXT, they do give a little bit of personality to their refs. You know, we saw, I think it was it this ref or a different one that was the zombie, the Cameron Grimes zombie?
I believe it was the same ref. Yeah,
I think his last name is Shawarma.
It's Sharma. Yeah,
Sharma.
Yeah, it's Daryl Sharma. I believe that's what
Daryl Sharma. Okay,
that's what someone in chat said earlier. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was absolutely terrific stuff. So I'm looking at the clip right now, and he's so hyped afterwards, and everybody's like, "Look, oh, it's a terrific spot.
It's pretty great.
It's a terrific spot."
This was a pretty one-sided match, though. It felt like MSK didn't really feel. Well, we knew this match. The outcome of this match was not in doubt. In the end, it went exactly how we thought it would. MSK getting the win, hitting their finish. Still a fun bout, though. MSK is a really creative, energetic team. Put them in the mat in the ring against just about anybody, you'll have a fun match.
Yeah. Noticeably absent last night was Drake Wirtz, Larson.
Gosh.
Apparently had other business to take care of. Was that on Fightful Select or was that somewhere else? Anyways, less said about that. Better.
Yeah, let's talk about John Gargano. So he's backstage. He says, "Cameraman, come with me. We're going to Regal's office."
Didn't have to break through the door politely this time.
The door was open this time, and Gargano's complaining about having to face Bronson Reed next week. It's like, Regal, why do you hate me?
I don't hate you. I don't
North
hate
American
you.
Champ.
You're the North American champion. I had the marketing department come up with that headband for you. And he said, "I know, looks great."
Looks great. He says, but still, I'm still facing Reed next week. And, Regal says, despite that, you're still facing Reed next week. And Gargano makes a move to grab the brass knuckles off Regal's desk. And Regal goes, don't touch those.
Don't touch those.
Instead, Gargano takes Regal's pencil, snaps it.
After that, we had the announcement, "In your house," June 13th or something like that.
I think that's what it is, yeah.
All right. And Todd Pettengill is going to host. And then what was it? I wrote this down, but I didn't notice it. Did Everrise do anything beyond just show up behind commentary with an Everrise live sign?
Not that I noticed.
Okay. After that, we had a Pete Dunne promo. It claims that Karrion Kross is ducking Dunne, offers up an open challenge. And Ruff attacks Dunne from behind, so they have a match.
Mm-hmm.
Dunne seemed very tickled that Ruff attacked him, so they get into it. But in the end, Dunne traps Ruff's head in his legs, rains down a bunch of elbows. The ref stops the match, calls it for Dunne. But this was really, really fun stuff.
Yeah, short match, but yeah, it was really fun. Pete Dunne, as usual, working over Leon Ruff's wrist and arm. Leon trying to get some of his usual moves. And I like that Pete Dunne, when Leon Ruff was doing that thing where he kind of jumps from rope to rope trying to evade his opponent, Pete Dunne, caught him during one of his leaps and starts working over his arm. I like when people do stuff like, when Daniel Bryan does that bit where Pete Dunne does it too, where he kind of walks up the ropes and jumps off, does like a backflip off the top.
Mm-hmm.
Like far too often, like if you do your scouting, this is something in that person's arsenal they employ all the time. So be ready for it.
Yeah.
And I like this is a situation where this is something Leon Ruff does most matches. Pete Dunne was ready for it.
Yeah. You see that in good matches, not formulaic matches. And you're right. I like when they do that as well. After that, we had whenever there's like it's always it's a smarter thing. Whenever there's like a series of matches, and they recall that it's obvious they have scouted the previous match. That's always just very basic, simple storytelling that we really don't get that often.
Well, even if you have a match against an opponent, you should prepare.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't take 1 or 2, 3 matches down the line to have a counter for something that your opponent does on a regular basis. Like, be ready for it,
Yeah, I know. But at the same time, I mean, how many times have we heard just anecdotally, wrestlers wanting to get their stuff in?
Yeah, I understand.
I got to get my stuff in, brother.
But like, for example, say this bit with Leon Ruff, where say there's another match between him and Pete Dunne down the line.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a similar situation. Leon Ruff is trying to evade Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne catches him.
Yeah.
Well, Pete, then you could call back to this match, and Leon Ruff says, "Okay, he caught me. I can anticipate that and have something to answer."
Yeah, it makes for much more. It just the attention to detail to that degree. Your viewers will be rewarded.
I enjoy it when I feel like wrestlers prepare for their matches and actually do scouting, on their opponents to know how to counter and not, and I appreciate when a match or 2 or 3 matches in, there's a lot more counter wrestling because that means they're paying attention to their opponent. But sometimes it's great to see that in the first match.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Especially like, people watching NXT think they're going to be a bit more savvy about this stuff, and formulaic matches where everybody gets their stuff in just doesn't cut it. It's not interesting. After that, we had a Legado del Fantasma promo. Everybody got a turn on the mic. It was punctuated by Santos, who said, by the end of the night, I'll be 2-time NXT Cruiserweight Champion. There really wasn't anything new here, but that was that.
No. They announced that Frankie Monet will be making her in-ring debut in 2 weeks. Also in 2 weeks, Karrion Kross versus Finn Balor for the NXT title.
You surprised they didn't wait a month for this? I'm kind of surprised.
No, I'm guessing there could be some sort of not cleaned finish here. I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if Gargano gets himself involved in all this, because I would not be shocked if he loses that North American title next week.
To Reed, yeah, okay. And then after Finn, it's going to be Gargano versus Kross. That's interesting. I like that. That's cool. Sort of makes sense too. And don't you love how this didn't come out of just nowhere? Gargano. It wasn't that Gargano. It's like it basically stems from. Does it stem from the Scarlet being in Regal's office thing?
In theory,
that's great.
Yeah,
that's great. It's like a natural thing that would take place is happening when another storyline walks into a room, and then you have storylines converge. You have a new opponent for that. It makes everything feel. There's so many lessons that main roster can learn from both NXT and AEW. Because it's like it all feels like one big thing, and everybody is there. Everybody's present organic in the building. Yeah.
Yep. So after that, we had Mercedes Martinez challenging Raquel Gonzalez for the NXT Women's Championship. Hard-hitting bout. Raquel Gonzalez retains successfully. There's a couple cool bits here. Early on, Mercedes has like a draping suplex off the top rope that gets her 2 count. Raquel rolls out the apron. Mercedes hits her with a spear. Another 2 for Mercedes. Later on, Mercedes charges, and Raquel does like the reverse powerbomb thing, but against the over the top rope. So Mercedes tumbles to the floor. Raquel then slams her into the barricade, rams her head. She like lawn darts Mercedes into the ring post. Back in the ring, Raquel goes for a finish. Mercedes escapes it, hits a running knee, hits a perfect plex that gets her a 2, and then Mercedes hits a trio of knees, goes for a 4th. Raquel evades that, hits a giant boot, follows up with her powerbomb finisher to get the W.
Yeah,
stiff match.
It was a solid match. Mercedes Martinez is absolutely fantastic, and Raquel looked great here. After that, Swerve and his crew show up. This is a rude moment where Swerve pushes the camera guy to the ground.
Yeah.
After that, from commercial, Gargano and Theory are being sort of ushered out of the locker room. As the camera goes in, we realize they have just attacked Bronson Reed, and they've been removed from the locker room. So he's got something to say about that a little bit later.
And Bronson Reed, well, he's not that happy there. He gets up and declares that John is a dead man.
Yeah, that's right. After that, Hit Row is introduced as Swerve's new crew. Swerve gets on the mic. They all sort of sit. There's a spotlight on them. He's sitting down. Everybody has a microphone, which I thought was great. I was like, okay, this is going to be good because they're all going to get their time to make them each a personality, you know? So he gets on the mic first, though. He says, the biggest mistake I made was trying to be something everybody else wanted me to be. He says, Swerve is confidence? No, that's not me. Swerve is a savage, a dangerous man. It only seems right that I recruit people who think how I do, starting with Top Dollar. And Top Dollar says, why do they call me Top Dollar? Because I make top dollar every day. He's got a bit of a rap type thing, promo to say, followed by Theodonis. And he says, again, he sort of has sort of a semi-rap type thing. And he punctuates it by saying, you might get world starred if you come across me, which I thought was great. And then B-Fab, the woman of the group, speaks her bit. She talks about rapping on tour with Juicy J.
Yeah.
That's rad. That's cool.
That is.
That's pretty neat. So
that is.
Yeah, I thought it was really, really strong.
Yeah. Yeah. AJ Francis, Top Dollar, says B-Fab put money on Ruff's head, so that's why he dropped Ruff on his head. And then to wrap it up, Swerve says, yeah, it's all well and good, and we're here having fun, but NXT Universe, take a look at what you see in the ring. This here is a problem. Together, we produce hits. They are hit row, and if you don't know, now you know.
Now you know. Yeah, that was really good stuff. After that, it's funny because like we get this cool hit row stuff, and then goofy ass Cameron Grimes shows up to an auction for a house.
And like I swear that like every time they cut to Cameron Grimes, they break the 180 rule.
Oh, dude, I have noticed that through all these vignettes.
Crazy. It's driving
all
me crazy.
These vignettes. They're breaking the one. Now it's a nerdy filmmaker thing where you see. Although to be fair,
it's kind of essential thing though, so you know the geography of the space.
Okay, but Larson, here's the thing. We for like a year or so and this is a great visualization of the 180-degree rule because Larson and I are looking at each other
because we're having a conversation. Yes,
right. Before I decided to switch things up here, we were both not looking at each other.
But that was more circumstances. We were aware of the problem.
we were aware of the problem. We fixed the problem, and nobody has seemed to fix that problem. So that's the 180-degree rule: is that the camera's supposed to be on the same side.
For example, like say Cameron Grimes was running, and say the first shot you see him running, he's running left to right. Right. If for a shot you switch that to right to left, you think, why is Cameron Grimes now running the opposite direction?
That's a great example. Yeah. And so similarly, when you're having a conversation, this should be a shot. And the next shot, if I'm talking to somebody, should be Larson's shot, right? Right there, where he's looking this way, I'm looking that way. And like too often, I've noticed this across all these vignettes. They break the crap out of that rule.
So it
looks like filmmaking one-on-one.
For example, like if the auctioneer guy, he's looking screen left, talking, and Cameron Grimes should be looking screen right to respond to him. Yeah. And far too often, both people talking are facing the same direction. Yeah. And so you're like, who's Cameron Grimes talking to? It's disorienting.
Doesn't make any sense. No. So anyways, Grimes comes to an auction. The gist of this is he's being outbid by Dibiase on this house. Grimes kicks in. It starts at $2 million. Grimes' final offer is for $8 million. And then in the end, Dibiase bids $20 million on a house that clearly shouldn't be going more for $3 million. We actually did some Zillow research on this prior to the cameras rolling here, and that house should not go for more than $3 million. So, you could say Grimes just, like in old Storage Wars, he bid up Dibiase to make him spend
$20 million. He said, yeah, nope.
He said, yeah, nope. He was the Dave Hester. Yep. So, yeah, he said every man has his price.
Cameron Grimes wants to be the new mogul.
He's the new mogul. He says, but you're no $1 million man.
Then we had the Zoe Stark, Tony Storm video package. Stark was saying that she used to be a fan of Tony before she got here. Problem is, Tony stopped performing and started talking. And she says Tony doesn't like her because Zoe is hungrier than Tony. Stark talked about basically living in the gym, working out. She says next week we have a rematch. It's not going to be another upset because Tony Storm is facing a wrestling machine.
Yeah, that's going to be a killer match. After that, we had earlier in the day in the parking lot. What's up, chicken butt? I did like so Oni Lorcan basically challenges Kyle O'Reilly. I do like when Kyle says, "I think you've been in the sun too long."
Yeah, but yeah, Oni goes up to him and just says, "Hey, you can't beat Pete Dunne, you can't beat Finn, you can't beat Kross. Heck, you can't even beat me. So guess what?" And then O'Reilly just says, "Chicken butt." I'm like, oh.
I know, it's kind of cringy, dude.
It is a little bit. So anyways, the match is made because they have an argument in the parking lot that seems really unmotivated about anything else. So Kyle O'Reilly wins this. Not a huge surprise. After the bout, so Kyle wins with the top rope knee. And so after the bout, Pete Dunne, who joined Oni ringside, hits the ring, starts attacking Kyle O'Reilly. Oni gets up, joins in. They start beating up Kyle. Bob Fish runs in to make the save. He and Kyle fight off. Dunne and Lorcan clear the ring, and they kind of circle each other. And then here, I'll beat Kyle O'Reilly. You beat Bob Fish. We'll actually do the real dialogue this time. So Kyle O'Reilly says, "Good to see you back."
Yeah, that's. Oh, you're Kyle O'Reilly, and I'm Bob Fish.
Yeah, I'll be Kyle O'Reilly. Yeah. It's good.
It's good to be back. See, yeah. Oh, I'm facing this way. It's good to be back. See.
All right. Well, thanks, but I kind of got my own thing going on now.
Same with me, Sonny Jim. I got my own score to settle. By the way, what happened to the Undisputed Era? Where are they,
Well, he didn't say that.
No, he didn't say that. But he said, yeah, I got my own scores to settle.
See you when they see you.
It was funny because, yeah, they were just shouting for the purposes of the camera. Mm-hmm. But really, I mean, even, look, if they wanted to have this conversation in the middle of the ring, we get... You know, I mean, even we've talked about this on, here's a lesson for NXT to learn from SmackDown. Remember when Roman had the great, like, a contract signing without a microphone?
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was great.
Well, I think that's what they were trying to do here. They just didn't make it intimate in it by any stretch of the imagination.
I wonder if they were like, if they were self-conscious about the fact that they know the cameras are mic'd, but they want to make sure that they get the dialogue out.
That could be.
And it's like, we would have heard enough if they talked in a normal voice.
I know. But here's the thing: a scene like this can be just as powerful through body language alone. You know,
I agree totally. Yeah.
And if you worry about getting the body language right and the reactions, to the dialogue right, as opposed to worrying about camera picking up dialogue, the audience is going to get what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
totally. That's why I said, you know, if it's a simple thing where you know they clear the ring, circle each other for a little bit, Bob Fish just goes, nods at him. More or less, hey, I understand what your deal is. Just coming to say hi, and off he goes.
Well, that's the thing. The visual representation, and I know we're sort of getting the minutiae here, but it's what we do. The visual representation of them not ending the sequence together in the ring, if they just depart, if Bob Fish says, yeah, they do a fist bump or whatever, an acknowledgement, and then he leaves and Kyle O'Reilly's just standing there in the ring by himself, that visual representation is enough for most people, you know? And then you can pick up the thread next week when clearly they're not doing anything together, you know? That's enough. But I understand, you know, they're trying to make it obvious. They're trying to make it, hey, just so there's no, you know...
ambiguity of the situation. Clean break for Redragon.
Yeah. Exactly.
They will not dragon again.
They will not dragon again. After that, we had a much too short trailer, like a superhero trailer, seemingly, for The Way, where it's sort of like Marvel Avengers type thing.
Yeah,
and I have no idea. I know it's a gag and it's a joke, but Austin Theory wearing a muscle shirt when this dude already has muscles on muscles is hilarious.
It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. After that, we got a quick Bronson Reed promo. He just says sick death of Gargano and Theory and The Way. So he met with Regal and he's giving him what he wants. North American title match inside a steel cage.
Steel cage match.
So we'll see if Bronson Reed hits a splash off the top of the cage to get himself that North American title.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then we had our main event, Santos Escobar versus Kushida, 2 out of 3 falls match. This was great because very early on, Kushida's dumped to the outside, and Legado, the other 2 members, begin to attack. But out of nowhere, MSK come from, it was like from beyond the barricade, just like launch themselves off the barricade into them and prevent that from happening. I think Kushida got one shot on like Joaquin Wilde or something like that. But beyond that, they had no influence on the match. And this was really early. The ref kicked them all out, and MSK got what they wanted here. And then Kushida ended up dropping a top rope senton to the floor on Santos. I don't know how these dudes, I've seen this so much these days. Like Santos kind of braced him a little bit, but There's so many thumping going on. There's so much thumping going on these days.
Did you see that there's a GIF I saw of Jack Evans years ago in a Ring of Honor match where he does I don't think there's pads on the outside.
Jesus.
It didn't look like it. So he does like a springboard. It's like a 450 senton type thing. And I don't know who he's wrestling. The guy, he barely clips the dude's arm. Just lands on his back.
That sucks.
Like, oh, that sucks so bad.
That sucks. You see, Ricky Starks has a neck fracture.
Mm-hmm. It's out for 3 months.
Shocked. Oh, it was 3 months. Okay, I didn't see that part. I mean, I'm assuming he should be happy it wasn't worse because that landing was.
Yeah, it was. Ugly. Yeah, it was that spot. Yeah,
that was ugly. So anyways, after that we had, so Santos sort of wrecked Kushida much of the first fall. He hits a Rana from the top. Kushida rolls that through for a 2 count, a handspring back elbow, basement drop kick. Kushida takes control, but sort of out of nowhere, after Kushida gets a lot in, Santos hits a phantom driver out of nowhere, and he gets 3 for that first fall. So Santos is up 1-0.
Yeah.
This was great for the second fall, or it was not a fall, it was a tap out. But right when they were supposed to go to commercial break, Vic sort of mentioned we're going to go to commercial break, and then he started yelling for the truck. He was like, hey, wait. Don't cut away. Don't cut away. Because Kushida
an armbar,
he locked in the armbar, and Santos did end up tapping out. And then they go to commercial.
Yeah, that was good.
It's such a great, we're savvier now. You know, we know, commercial break. We know nothing's going to happen. And so they're sort of flipping those expectations that we have, you know, and they're keeping it like, wait a second, no, anything can happen. Don't go to commercial now. Mm-hmm. And something does happen. It adds so much to it.
Like a real sports event.
It's that sense of urgency we're talking about.
Yep. So after that, excuse me, Kushida starts working over Santos's arm again, hits the top rope knee, penalty kick to the same arm. Santos rolls out. Kushida goes for a sliding drop kick. Santos ducks that, but Kushida hits an arm ringer on the floor anyways. He gets a 2 count after a roll up right into another hoverboard lock. Santos reverses that into a roll up, gets a 2, and then Santos hits a leg lariat. He's looking for a phantom driver. Kushida escapes that. They're trading roll ups, trading kickouts. They do a double lariat spot. They're both selling that for a while. Eventually, though, Santos puts Kushida on the top rope, looks for a super phantom driver. Kushida elbows out, does the thing where he locks on the hoverboard lock on the top rope and essentially does like a Spanish fly.
Yeah.
And Santos is trying to get to the ropes. Kushida kind of spins him over back towards the middle of the ring without breaking the hoverboard lock. Mm-hmm. Santos, though, does eventually get to the bottom rope. And then Kushida hits the hoverboard lock suplex into the corner. And it follows with kind of like a hammerlock, bridging, butterfly suplex thing to get the win.
Yeah.
Where essentially he suplexed Santos on the shoulder. He'd been working with the hoverboard lock for like the last minute.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a good match. Good match.
Yeah, really terrific stuff. Let's go ahead and answer some questions. White Brownie says, if NXT doesn't go on the road, production-wise, should NXT make changes to stand out more, or do you see them hitting the road like main roster? So all we can go by is what we know, what we've heard, and there has never been any indication that NXT was going to hit the road, if I'm not mistaken. I believe they're probably just going to try to cram once it's safe to do so. And I hope they do this. They're just going to try to cram as many people as they can inside the CWC, mm-hmm. which I think would be great. I appreciated that Full Sail. Full Sail really sort of was a bit of like, it had like a church environment, like a really cool wrestling based church. And I think that's what the CWC should be.
Yeah, I think that was one of the strengths of NXT mm-hmm. at Full Sail. It's
like PWG's
exactly.
The Armory or whatever it was called.
Yeah. You knew exactly what you were going to get from the crowd week in and week out. And the crowd being such an important part of the presentation of professional wrestling, as we've learned over the past year. You take the show on the road, and some crowds will be really good, really into it. Mm-hmm. Some crowds just kind of sit on their hands sometimes,
Yeah.
NXT, you know what you're going to get every time.
Yeah.
From the crowd.
And I mean, sometimes I do believe that sometimes that works against it. Full Sail, for every time you'd have moments that really that crowd appreciates and loves to see whenever there's like a title change, because there was a period where that didn't really happen on TV. Mm-hmm. you also get, if you have the same crowd there every week. Oh, my camera disappeared.
Yep.
If you have the same crowd every week, they also develop their own predilections, which might counter a natural fan reaction if they're on the road, for people who only get to see it once a year. So there are pros and cons. But if they feel like, hey, this is the presentation that will allow us to grow the most and be as unique as possible, then, good on them. I always wanted to say, I thought it'd be kind of cool if the CWC or Full Sail or whatever, wherever they were, if they had a home base and then they would go on shorter tours here and there, because they did that every once in a while. I think usually if they were forced because Full Sail had something going on or whatever. But I thought it'd be cool if they would do that. But, there doesn't seem to be any indication they want to go on the road.
I'm sure having it all in one place keeps costs down, too.
That's true, too, yeah. Church Jackson, what would your individual record labels be called? Damn it, that's a good question.
Well, I mean, I guess it make most sense. For a while, the thing was Coldwater Larson be Coldwater Records.
Oh, that's a good one.
Or Fun Records. There might be a Fun Records already, for all I know.
Record Juice. Because I do Wrestle Juice as my side hustle. Record Juice. That's good.
What about recording album releases?
Yeah, recording album releases. That's good. I was thinking of
Like
something
that.
generic like that. That's good too.
Legendarius, I'm the only one that completely missed that they were booking Raquel as a heel. The boos during after the match were confusing. No, she's always been kind of the heel.
Yeah, she's usually a heel. She's a bad guy. She's just dominant. She's dominant bad guy.
Yeah.
Wolfpack for Life says, is Regal going to come back? Or if Regal came back for one match in NXT, who
Adam
is
Cole.
he facing?
Adam Cole.
Should be Adam Cole, but Gargano's quickly climbing up that ladder,
Kyle Cotton SA says NXT rating is 697,000 with a 0.17 in the demo, 25th overall. Says they got killed by the NBA and the Knicks, Lakers, Celtics, and Heat all on one night. Not good with playoffs coming up.
Well, you know what? You can book some compelling shows, and you'll be able to compete.
They have the title match in a couple weeks.
they got good stuff going on.
Dangum Q wonders if Dynamite will get over 1 million tonight, or will the NFL schedule release special on ESPN affect things? I would be shocked if a special. I know the NFL is really popular. A special on the schedule release is going to drastically influence AEW's ratings.
What'd they do last? Blood and Guts did 1.1.
About 1.1.
1.1.
Do you want to do a quick Dynamite preview?
Oh yeah,
We can
let's
talk
do
about it
that.
real
We could do that.
IWGP US title match, Mox champion taking on Yuji Nagata. That'll be fun. Can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Young Bucks versus SCU.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's happening tonight.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Darby Allin versus Miro. And Orange Cassidy versus Pac. Winner faces Kenny at Double or Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
The coronation of the Pinnacle. And then Cody announces who he's going to face at Double or Nothing. It'll be a Jade Cargill interview.
Oh, dear.
That's what they got on AllEliteWrestling.com.
That sounds like a story-packed show. That's great. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it'll be interesting. Like, it's not a heavily hyped, big event show, but my guess they'll do better than 900. What do you think?
Yeah, that seems fair. I think around 900, maybe a bit more.
Yeah.
EV says A&E, not AEW. A&E is owned by Disney, and of course Disney owns ESPN. Are showing a load of WB focused programs, but ESPN said no more WB. What gives? So I think it was Meltzer that said that ESPN had banned WB from their channels or something.
Yeah.
Which I think a matter of weeks later they had some story about something wrestling related. So obviously that wasn't the case.
Yeah, it was because they wanted to get. What was the deal with it? It was because WWE announced a deal with. crap, what was it? It was like retaliatory because it was like a WWE announced a deal and then ESPN was like, oh yeah, no, we're not going to do that. Oh, it was the Peacock thing.
Well, it was the Peacock deal. It was the Peacock thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think ESPN wanted
So, I mean, according to at least Wikipedia, A&E is just owned by A&E Net. Oh, okay. Owners is 50% Hearst and 50% Disney. Okay.
Disney, man. Just everybody's going to be Disney one day.
Yep. So, I mean, if this, I believe it was Meltzer that broke that story that ESPN had banned WWE. Just wasn't the case.
Wasn't the case. Yeah. Jay Singh, Vince McMahon, Visca Man wants 2 new NXT call-ups to help revitalize Monday Night Raw. Triple H says, yeah, okay. But he wants 2 wrestlers from Raw in exchange. Which 2 NXT wrestlers should get called up? Which 2 Raw wrestlers should go back to developmental? So obviously no Kevin Owens here.
Yeah.
Wrestlers from Raw. If it's temporary, I'd like to see Randy Orton do a stint in NXT. Yeah. I think that'd be wild fun.
He'd probably enjoy that.
He'd probably enjoy that too. So I'm going to say Randy Orton, and I'm going to say no. Boy, there's not any women that I'd want to see on Raw go back to NXT. I guess maybe, I hate to do this, but I'm going to say the New Day go to NXT. I think there's some fun tag team matchups there in NXT. Maybe even have them do a stint in UK to face Mustache Mountain.
That'd be good. I'd say John Morrison. He breaks up with The Miz. Maybe they have a loser leaves Raw match.
Good.
Morrison goes to NXT. Just think of all the awesome matches.
That's great. That's awesome,
NXT.
yeah.
I think that'd be awesome. That'd be super awesome. And yeah, someone else that's tough. That's tough.
I'm trying to think of people from NXT to go to Raw. I'm going to say
I'll say Nikki Cross as well. I don't know what they have in store for her on Raw.
Yeah.
But I'd just much rather see her on television somewhere as opposed to not see her at all because she's really good.
Oh, AJ Styles is a great answer.
Yeah, if he were tag champion, he would probably be.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah, easily one of my answers. From NXT, Adam Cole, especially if it's just like a short-term thing.
Yeah.
Set him up for a little bit.
Yeah.
And LA Knight.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to the big leagues. Not coming back. I feel like he should be on SmackDown because his branding is SmackDown. Let's see here. Julio Contreras. So with Kushida not being down right away for the first pin and being pointed out during the replay, will they bring up that Santos' shoulder wasn't all the way down for the last pin or just ignore it because the angle has changed on the replay? I don't think they're going to. I'd be surprised if they bring it up. I think referee's decision's final.
Yeah, I think so too. Gareth, Steven Larson get to name the next takeover. Oh, sorry, the next NXT in your house. What do you got?
In your house, on your lawn. Clean up your shit. In your house, clean up your shit.
In your house, separate your recyclables.
Yeah. Let's see here. Hammond Serrano. Throughout the vignettes, we've never seen Ted DiBiase actually even low-key mentoring Cameron Grimes, only throwing shade. Does Cameron Grimes outsmart the $1 Million Man in the end, or go bankrupt trying to one-up Ted? I think they're going to be put together.
Yeah. Well, hopefully there's some end game in the works, because otherwise there's really kind of no point to it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's NXT. I'm sure it has main roster feel to it, but it's NXT. I'm sure there's something going on. Rob Conway guy. Hey there, friendos. Wondering who your favorite deep cut wrestlers are that just about nobody else ever mentions. He says, personally, I've always loved Tajiri and don't think he ever got enough love. Just kidding. Get the fuck out of here. It's Rob Conway. Thank you, Rob Conway guy.
Thank you, Rob Conway guy.
Oh, man.
Oh, it's Ernest the Cat Miller.
Oh, that's a good answer.
He was wildly entertaining.
It was great.
Put on fun matches.
Yeah. I'm gonna say somebody that's never mentioned when it comes to like ECW guys, Shane Douglas. He was like one of the top ECW guys that nobody ever really talks about. I always loved his. He was like he sort of because I didn't really know about Bob Orton before him. Like when I started watching ECW, I was like, oh wow, this dude's got a cast on his arm for a really long time. What a great gimmick. Thought he was cool.
Little did you know.
Thought he was really cool.
Cowboy Bob Orton did that for the longest time.
And later on, I realized that he was like the least interesting thing about ECW. Certain people just speak to me, man.
Guess so. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, I guess I'm all caught up there.
Moses opposes. Besides Adam Cole, who else does? I mean, we already kind of answered this. Who else does Bobby Fish have unfinished business with? You sort of mentioned it. The guys that injured him in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so. King CTM, after achieving individual success and finally interacting on main for the first time, how would you book a fatal four-way between the Undisputed Era for the WB title?
For which title?
For the WWE titles,
Oh,
the
so
Raw
they
belt.
all get called up. I wonder how long Roderick Strong's going to be out for.
Yeah, I don't know. We haven't really heard much of a follow-up on that whole story.
Not really. How would you book it? I don't know, but Adam Cole would win, clearly.
Yeah. Yes.
Adam Cole stacks the other three.
There you go.
That's the new thing. It's the stack. Now it's the stack.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to have a dramatic, definitive win without stacking your opponents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It really is. It really is.
Freedom KME mentions no Diamond Mine commercial this week. That's right.
Oh.
There was none of that.
I didn't just miss it this week. There was no...
I didn't.
No promo for it.
Right, yeah. I should have put it in my notes. Another one of these Diamond Mine. And this time it looked like Diamond Dallas Page might be there. I'm just going to start kayfabing it and be like, how did I miss this? It's going to be a whole story with matches and everything.
Like, well, I would have swore I would have saw some on Twitter about that.
Yeah.
Case.
I want to be like, Diamond Mine member Petey Williams had a match against Kona Reeves. And you're like, what? I missed that?
What?
Yeah,
Maple
dude.
Leaf Muscle in NXT?
All right, that's going to do it. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. What we got going on tonight? Oh, that's right. AW is tonight. And then on Friendo Club TV, we've got Ask Steve and Larson. No wrestling questions allowed.
Yep,
Thanks, everybody.
tomorrow.
We doing that today or tomorrow? Oh, that's tomorrow, isn't it?
Tomorrow. Yeah, we
oh,
do
that's
that
right.
Thursday.
Nice. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Help support Going In Raw today by becoming a Friendo Club TV member. You'll get access to new bonus episodes every week, including Friendo Club Arcade, Live Power Rank, Vintage 10 for the Wins, and Ask Steven Larson. Get access to Friendo Club TV today by becoming a $5 and up patron at patreon.com/Steven Larson, by throwing us a sub at twitch.tv/Steven Larson, or by clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson.